Okay. Well, welcome and good evening, everybody. My name is Joyce Cox, and I'm the Senior Manager of the Office of Neighborhood Engagement for the Division of Housing and Community Development. First of all, let me say thank you for spending your evening with us. And on behalf of Mayor Jim Strickland and the best director in the city of Memphis, Director Ashley Cash, we do say thank you and welcome to actually, can you believe it? It is we're in the 11th month of 2023. It's just has flown, the time has flown by. But this is our 11th, and we hope that you guys will join us for the 12th next month and the following year. But before we move on, I would be remiss if I didn't introduce, in my opinion, the best team in the city of Memphis, in my opinion. First, we have Mr. Sherman Robinson, who is our neighborhood redevelopment coordinator, Miss Lakeisha Smith, who is our HCD analyst, and I'll call her the newbie of the bunch. That's Miss Stephanie Hope, and she's also one of HCD analysts. And now, if you've gotten a phone call from anybody in our division, it would be from our one and only Miss Tammy Davis, and she should be popping on shortly. But I just want to say, again, the best team in the city of Memphis, that's government or otherwise. And that is my opinion. But I'm going to turn it over to Mr. Sherman Robinson, who is going to introduce our guests. Also, if you have any questions, comments, whatever, you're more than welcome to put them in the chat. And then we will, as the session goes on, if there are any questions, we will give our facilitators an opportunity to answer those. So, Mr. Robinson.
Thank you, Ms. Cox. Good evening, everyone. I do have the pleasure of introducing this dynamic duo, is what I call them. They are a husband and wife team who has over 50 years of combined experience serving diverse organizations across this country and internationally. They have served nonprofits, colleges, universities, even corporations, and a few celebrities. There are some coaches, I can say, some developers, some authors, and they are very, very, I guess I can say, truly to their craft. They have a passion for the work that they do. I think they installed and put the word fundraising in the dictionary. So they have a passion for it. So ladies and gentlemen, just sit back, enjoy it, absorb all this knowledge that you can. And I'll have to present Mel and Pearl Shaw.
Thank you, Sherman.
All righty.
You have any more words you could add to that? Because you're on a roll. I'm enjoying it. No, I'll be Pearl.
Well, this is great. Good. If you could share with us the ability to share screen.
Yes.
There we go. Well, that's what we want to say. Welcome, welcome, welcome. So whether you're with us live or you're watching this later on Facebook or any place else, we just want to say welcome. Thank you for everything that you do on behalf of your community to advance those things you believe in, to care for your neighbor. Anything and everything that motivates you, we say thank you. It's always above and beyond. Today, Joyce asked us to talk about how to create a fundraising day. And we just wanted to start by sharing that sometimes people think about a fundraising day and it's all about the technology and we get it up and then we'll get millions of dollars. So we hope that's true for you. But what we're going to share is those things that kind of go on in the background to make your giving day as successful as it can be. So what I want to say, this is Melvin and myself. We are a husband and wife team, and we work together. We try to have a good time. So we want you to have a good time too. Keep a smile on your face. And we go forward. We just want to start with what is a fundraising day? You'll hear people talk about, oh, it's Giving Tuesday, or oh, this college is having a giving day, or this organization is having their giving day. It's a 24-hour period focused on encouraging giving, and it should be volunteer and donor driven. So you don't want to think about it as an activity that, oh my gosh, I've got to get my staff. If you have staff, I got to get my staff to do this. Rather, it's about taking time to engage volunteers and, importantly, donors in being part of this. And we want to say hello to those of you who are joining. We're just getting started covering our first content slide. What is a fundraising day? I'm Pearl Shaw, and I'm turning it over to Melvin Shaw.
Well, thank you, Pearl. It's a pleasure to be here and to be with the team. But today we really want to focus on that one day. And the idea is that you be creative to create a day that fits the culture of your organization. I know you hear about Giving Tuesday, the year-end campaigns, but we want you to think along with your staff and volunteers, what kind of day that would get your audience excited. So let me give you some examples, that you might think about, Father's Day. Do we honor all of the donors and people who support your organization? Do we single out fathers for that day and build a campaign around those individuals? Do you think about Founders Day? When was the organization founded? How important that is in the culture of the organization? How many people are around that can appreciate what the organization is about in its beginning? Then everybody, I think, understands about Giving Tuesday. But we want to go beyond Giving Tuesday. We feel like your organization is creative. It has the history, the staffing, both volunteer and staff, to really develop something that is special around your organization, its mission and goal. Then Juneteenth. Everybody, that's a real thing now. Juneteenth, or your organization in a position to tag on to all of the hype that goes around Juneteenth. Maybe you have something special that ties into Juneteenth. There's Martin Luther King Day, and I don't have to say any more about that. There's Mother's Day. Can your organization gear up and create excitement and the volunteer force to celebrate Mother's Day as it relates to your community or your constituency? There's Thanksgiving. It may be a little bit too late for this year, but you can start thinking about next year. How do we take advantage of the hype and resources that's built around Thanksgiving versus all the money going to buying turkey and so forth? Maybe that money could be diverted to help you in some of the things that you do. And then year-end giving. I think everybody focuses on what can we do to end the year respectfully. But you don't want to end the year in a crisis. You want to plan ahead of time to say, how do we make the year-end holiday moments and days special for our organization? So think about those days, but I'm sure there are 100 other days and ideas and events that you can build around that one day to get people excited about your organization. So the next, create your own fundraising day. And I'm leading to that. It's your special campaign that has your brand around it. It could be for emergency money. It could be for scholarships. It could be for equipment, closing the budget gap. There's always some kind of need that you can really make the focal point for your special day. It could be honoring a special person who's related to the organization, who's done great work for you, who has a history with the organization, but it's a person that everybody knows and can relate to. And then new initiatives that you might want to introduce. It's a new program, you're building a new building, you're buying some equipment, or whatever the case might be. So that also could be a part of your special day initiative. New initiatives, programs, and facilities. And this is what we consider the annual intensive phase, part of your annual fundraising most activities is raising money. But in that, everybody knows that you're there for the year to raise your money. But there are periods within that period that you want to build hype, you want to create excitement, you want to educate, you want to acknowledge people. So you can have a series of days throughout the year that will really get people excited. Secondly, joint campaigns. You might want to do this with other nonprofits or other organizations who are doing similar work that you're doing, so that you can take advantage of your resources, your outreach, your staff, and so forth. So think about those organizations that you can share ideas and resources together. So again, creating that fundraising day, this is what we want you to have in your mind as we go through this process. Perfect.
All right. So I think we shared at the beginning that what we're focusing is on all the things that go on behind the scenes. So we're going to say welcome, Stephanie, as you come on into the room. We're talking now about planning for a successful fundraising day. And it's that planning that makes it successful. It's not having the online button or the GoFundMe page. It's what do you do to drive people to that page. So this is what we're saying, think in advance. And then you determine how much lead time you need for these activities. Well, first of all, it needs to be beyond your idea. You want to secure buy-in for the concept from volunteers, staff, and your board. And that goes to what Melvin was just talking about. What's going to be the focus? So you might have multiple fundraising priorities over the year, but for your 24-hour period, what's going to grab people's attention and make them want to give? So you want to think about how are you going to define your giving day? And then you want to share that concept and get buy-in and thoughts from others, as opposed to just being like, let's do this, I've got a great idea. You want to think about how much do you want to raise, right? So as much as I can is a wonderful goal. And there's no technology that stops people from giving after you exceed your goal. But think about who knows about your organization, what is the need that you're raising money for during that 24-hour period of time? How much energy can you put into promoting this? And set your goal based on a reasonable assessment of what you could achieve. And you talk to other people, talk to people who've done a Giving Day campaign, and think about what's the goal. But you want to have a goal. You want to share that goal in your communication. So we're trying to raise X amount of dollars for Y. You want to be consistent in what your message is. The third thing is you want to determine who your target audience is. So anybody that you could reach by email or text or social media, yeah, they could all be your audience. But who do you want to target in on so that you tailor your message and you're thinking specifically, how are we going to reach these people? What kind of communication do we need to have going on to drive them to give? So whether they're giving through social media, a giving platform, dropping a check by, whatever it is, you need to know who are you communicating with and what are the methods that you're going to use to let them know you're doing this and to give now. One of the important things about a giving day is it creates a sense of urgency. So you have kind of that like, let's get ready, it's coming, give now, and thank you. But you want to know who are you talking to? You want to know what's the date. So you really pick one 24-hour period, shut it down. You know, if you're doing fabulously well, you can have a backup plan of saying, you know, hey, let's go to 48 hours. Look what we did in 24. But you want to set a date. Just set a date for 24 hours. And think about your time duration. So I started this discussion by saying, think for yourself, how much time would it take for you to plan out your giving day? Some of that depends on the number of volunteers and donors that you can engage, the extent of your social media presence, or other ways in which you're active and communicating with people. So think about what's your planning time, set your budget. So you want to say, oh yeah, we could do it for free. Maybe you can, but maybe you're going to need to have some costs. You want to do some boosting of social media messages. Maybe you want to have a kickoff breakfast or something. So you want to think about, would there be any costs for you? And then leadership. So yes, publicly, this is a quote, simple campaign. We're just going to go in, raise money for a day, and we're done. But think about this. Who's affiliated with your organization that your target audience resonates with, so that if they hear something like on the radio, or they get something on a feed that says, making up, Michelle Obama says it's time to give to the Memphis Youth Initiative. Oh, well, is she your leader? Who are you going to have who lead the initiative to try to generate some excitement, and also to encourage others to be part of sending out the message and extending their network to give?
To continue with some of the things that you need to be mindful of as you move forward, think about those individuals who not only can participate with you, but can have their own audience that they can go after to help you build a fundraising day, because the fundraising day could be a series of many campaigns with individuals who have those kinds of resources. You want to create a timeline and activity chart. This is something that you just don't get excited about a week from now and say, oh, let's do that. This is planning, at least 6 months that you ought to have in mind to give your staff, your volunteers, because you really want this to be volunteer driven. So as you build your fundraising timeline and activity chart, you might talk about 3 or 4 special days that you want to have throughout the year. But this is something that you just don't want to surprise people by saying, oh, I got a great idea. Let's get something going in the next 2 weeks. It doesn't work that way. So we really want you to think hard, talk about the timing, what kind of activities that are involved, and who will do what, when, and that kind of thing. The next thing, when you talk to your volunteers and your volunteer leadership and even staff, talk about what do you want them to do. You should have in mind a job description as to, look, I want you to be in charge of social media. What does that mean by being in charge of social media? You point those things down, 3 or 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 key things. So when a person come up to you and say, well, you want me to be in charge of social media, what do you have in mind? So you might go back and forth, but at the end of the day, you guys want to make it very clear that everybody understands their role, whether it's publicity, solicitation, putting on an event, producing a production, whatever. But make sure you have that in writing, and that the people that's invited to participate truly understand what you're asking of them. And then you want to have a series of planning and orientation meeting. You just cannot take it for granted that these people who come in involved will say, oh, I know what to do. Let's make it work. You make sure you know what you want, but yet keep an open mind, because obviously the people that you're going to bring on board are experts. Hopefully they've done this before, that you can find a middle ground to make sure that everything is ready to go.
All right. So we got a little discussion about underwriting and matching gifts. You want to share a little, Melvin?
Go ahead, bro.
Okay. Well, this might seem a little outside the scope of a giving day, but you always want to be thinking with your fundraising, how do I keep growing the circle of people that support our organization? So, and you're also thinking about how can I reduce my fundraising costs? So that's why we're saying, thinking about an individual, a family, a social or faith group, a business, a philanthropy, to underwrite the costs of your giving day. So it could be when you write proposals, you might include a line item that some of the money would include the costs for your annual giving day, or maybe you're having, as Melvin said, 3 different giving days throughout the year. Think about, and when we say underwriting, some of it people say, oh, that's great. We just want to support your work. And then other people, you might want to give them some recognition, and say, oh, this quarter, our given day is brought to you by Dale Vivala restaurant. I don't know. Maybe they might offer something. Maybe their staff might get involved, right? And use their own personal social media accounts to just drive traffic on that day. But, you giving them some underwriting gives them some publicity. Same with a matching gift or grant. As you're doing your other fundraising, you can ask people, would you consider a matching grant of X to help encourage people to give on our giving day? And then when you do your appeals, whether it's social media or you're talking to someone on the phone or you got a billboard up, it says, November 17th, 2023, every dollar match 2 for 1. Thank you, X family for your support. But you want to think about what can you do to encourage giving? So that could be a matching gift. And when people agree to underwriting or giving you a matching gift, think always about how do you reciprocate. So you'd want to put their logo on some of your stuff. Maybe if there's a tagline or you have a short quote from somebody, you're offering them visibility, but also what they're doing is they're validating your work to their audience, right? So that's an important way of mutuality. But you want to remember to ask for those things so in advance so that you can promote them as you promote your giving day.
Well, one of the key things on giving day is making some noise, getting the word out. Because if they don't know about you, or they haven't heard about you, and they don't feel you, and they don't feel that energy, and as Pearl mentioned earlier, that sense of urgency, a given day, it can be really rough. So you really want to have enough time to really make a lot of noise, get people excited. They want to hear about you. They want to know about the organization. And also, you can go wrong by putting a absolute number of hours and time, not only with staff, but more than anything, bringing in volunteers who can help you get the word out with every challenge that you can put your hand on. So the first thing that you want to think about is creating a slogan or tagline. What's going to be your slogan around this given day? And when the people hear it, they'll know, oh, yeah, I know what's going on. Yes, this makes sense. Create a simple message, so that all your people involved will say, well, what's going on? Here's what we're trying to do. This is not only what we're trying to raise money, but this is the impact, and this is how you can benefit individually as well as our community. But you want to have that message packed so that everybody will be on the same page when you're doing that. You want to create a look and feel and graphics so when people see it in an ad or on TV, on a t-shirt or your stationery or marketing material, they can say, oh yeah, that's a special day for that organization. I know what that's all about and I want to get involved. You want to create an online photo which image that can be shared. So you look at that, get as much information that you can. Include information about your underwriters and those providing matching gifts. So, you want to have that joint logo, you want to have a tagline, you want to expose them on your website. and you want to have quotes from people who believe in the project, who's involved in the project, and people that people know that if they said it must be all right. So you got to take advantage of that as well. Pearl.
Thank you. And I would just underscore right here, this is really where so much of the work takes place, because this is really, it's a promotional activity. So if people don't know it's your giving day, how are they going to give? So that's really at the heart of it, and why we put a lot of attention on that. Check your resources, right? So sometimes, you know, we've seen clients that do these kind of activities, but they get very little results. So sometimes the first year is actually just a test run. But things that you want to check is, you know, your technology. Do you have a donate now button? Is everything working? Do you have an automated thank you message that goes out? Do you have the ability to text to give? If you do you have any cell phone numbers that you would use that technology with? So what social media accounts do you have? How robust are they? Who do you know, as Wayne mentioned earlier, that is an influencer in their own circle, right? And their circle overlaps with your mission and vision. Who can you talk to and engage in advance so that they're ready and willing to promote your giving day through their platforms? You might want to think about, if you have a mailing already going out, you know, paper, old-fashioned US mail, put it up, you know, a notice in there. Hey, watch out for 2 weeks from now, let's give. Look at your contact list. So whatever technology you may use for sending out newsletters, just look through your contact list. Sometimes people have email addresses for those they communicate with the most, but they're not in their constant contact or MailChimp or Donor Perfect kind of communication tool. So you want to make sure those who you want to be communicating, you will be communicating with. Think about access to radio, TV, podcasting. How are you communicating with people who share your mission and vision using media that's, you know, not so much social media, but other ways that people can gain access to information? You want to include those platforms. And it might sound old-fashioned, but you can give a mailing address. It's amazing when people listen, if they connect with you, they'll want to find out, you know, share your website. Make sure your website's up and current. Make sure you have a donate now button on there. And then if you're thinking about something that's also personally engaging that goes with your giving day, you want to have a kickoff breakfast or lunch, then think about, where would you have that? Who would you invite? So once you raise your $1 million in 24 hours, you want to say thank you, right? So how wonderful. And the truth is, this is, no matter how much you raise, it's always thank you, because you never get a second gift until you get a first gift. And you want people to feel good about giving to your organization. So let people know how you did. If you wanted to raise, say, 20,000 and you raised 4,000, say thank you. Say this, how much you raised, and let people know you still want to get to that 10,000. And if you can help, please do, and please continue to share the word, right? But let people know what you did. And then let people know how many people participated, right? Because if you're a small group and you've had about 30 people providing support, well, what if you gained an additional 20 donors? What if you have 1,500 donors and now you have 2,500 donors, right? That's that's a nice boost. So you want to let people know how much was raised, how many people participated. Oh, we'll say hi to Diane. Thanks for joining in. We're in the middle of the presentation and we're glad you're here. If you've heard from people in whatever means, word of mouth, they sent you an email, a text, and they said they want to give, and you look through who gave and you don't see their name popping up, reach out to them and let them know, hey, I want to count you as part of our Giving Day success. If you have a moment, I hope you'd be up to just going on our website and making your gift so we can include it in our count. So just because if someone says they want to give, you don't see the gift, follow up with them. You're not committing a crime to reach out and say, oh, I want to include you in my count. Importantly, use all the communication methods that you use during fundraising to report on how much was raised and to say thank you. So if you did podcasting and morning radio and your website and Facebook to encourage people to give, go to those same platforms and outlets and say thank you. Saying thank you is just as important as asking. And then if you're a small organization or there's someone that's well known within your organization, do personal text or personal email or give people a call and say thanks. You know, just a quick message, want to say thank you. Also appreciate you participating in Giving Day. Boop, that's it. But you're just putting that extra personal touch on it. And always, if you can and your technology supports it, to have a set up an automated thank you if people give using an online vehicle. So that's your minimum, but we're saying the minimum is not enough. Put that personal touch and use your platforms to say thank you as well. Oh, Melvin, this is probably your favorite topic.
Right. I know we've talked about all of the things that you need to get ready to launch your program, but you know, in our business, it's so uncertain. It's known for its abundance of disappointments and few successes. So, but to offset those disappointments, we're suggesting that you have a plan B, a plan C, and that it's understood with your volunteer leadership, your staff, and other supporters. So don't be so locked in. If, oh, I can't make it, you can always change it based on what your outside environment is like, or even internally. So, but as you build your plan, have a plan B and a plan C.
Great. And I'll say equally important, that plan A, B, and C, always important. Things just never work out. You know, if they worked out the way we want it, life would be great. But there's have a plan A, B, and C, and then there's don't reinvent the wheel. So we wanted to share with you some resources. So y'all may be familiar with Network for Good. They're now known as Bonterra. And they have really been providing support for Giving Tuesday to their clients and to the general public. So if you click on this link, and we'll have it, let me see if I can just put this in the chat. I don't want to mess it up. Well, it will, I was in slideshow view. So it'll be in these handouts, and Sherman's going to be putting them on Facebook, and it's hyperlinked, but it's bonterratech.com and their blog, and then Giving Tuesday checklist. So they share with you what they've learned over the years. The organization givingtuesday.org, they have a huge toolkit, you know, so if you do Giving Tuesday, they have Giving Tuesday logos, things you can do to connect with that national communication around Giving Tuesday. If you don't do Giving Tuesday, excuse me, if you don't do Giving Tuesday, you can adapt the suggestions to the Giving Day that you do choose. Also, givingtuesday.org, they have a peer-to-peer toolkit. So take a look at that. It's a toolkit you can download. Another thing is the Knight Foundation. It's a little dated, but it's a fundamental piece. It's their Giving Day playbook, and you can download that, and it gives you, again, step by step of how you can go about structuring your Giving Day. What we focused on, excuse me, is the things you want to do in advance that aren't necessarily visible, things for you to consider as you plan for this day. And then finally, we're going to get to the really complicated part. We're going to say thank you. These are resources. This is our blog. This is our website, saadandshaw.com. If you use the search bar on there, we've written about all kinds of things about fundraising. There's probably 10 years of weekly blog posts. So anything you think about fundraising, type it in the search bar and probably something will come up. And you can sign up for our blog on there. These are our books, and we try to be on social media. And this is the big thank you. So
we'll now leave it up open for questions at this time.
And we noticed Chase joined us. Hi, Chase. And
Hey, good evening, everyone. I do have a question. Is this meeting being recorded?
yes, it is.
Yes, it is.
And Sherman
Okay.
can give you the details.
Outstanding. Yes, sir. All right, thank you.
Diane, can we see your face?
So
I put a question in the chat room there. Running a nonprofit, we have not yet signed up for the ability to take credit cards at events and fundraisers and stuff. And once I start, chewing through some of that, it can be pretty confusing of all the different, structures they have and percentages and all these different things. And I wondered if there's a nonprofit or nonprofit friendly credit card taker company. I think of PayPal all the time, just simply because it's, well known, but their fees are pretty pricey. So do you guys know of any?
well, I think that is an issue that everybody is struggling with, and you'll see it in small businesses that, if you pay by credit card, they have a surcharge to cover that cost. There's different giving pages. The way you set it up, you can say, please cover the cost of credit card transaction in my gift. And so say you're given $30, it will calculate what that extra cost is. And so your donors can choose to cover the cost of giving via credit card.
And have you established a relationship with a bank, local bank yet?
Yes, we have. It's about 2 years now.
Well, I would sit down with them and let them know, and maybe they can work out a program with you, whether it's their bank or an affiliate bank, to keep
Okay.
your costs low. But start with them first.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions? All right. Cool.
Look, we appreciate everybody's time. We started by saying thank you for everything that you do. Nonprofit world is just brick by brick, built by wonderful people who have a cause they believe in. So we just want to thank you for the time that you take, and just to encourage you to understand that fundraising success, it's built over time. Don't let the discouragements get you down. It's just part of life. And learning fundraising. It's like going to business school, you know, because there's so many things. People say, well, why don't you just go online and raise money? Well, if it was that easy, you know, if it was that easy. So give yourself a break, be gentle, but Melvin's mom always said, keep pecking at the rock and sooner or later it will break. So don't give up. But most importantly, use the relationships you have. At the end of the day, it's people to people. So keep at it.
And it usually, if you start a program like a special day, it takes about 3 years before it really matures. So, you know, be ready and have your volunteers understand that it might not surface on the kind of dollars that we were on initially, but hopefully they would be patient enough to work with you so that you can build your program over the next 3 to 4 years.
And we appreciate all of you. We got a little sweet message from Lakeisha. So thank you, Lakeisha, and just thanks to everybody. I think Memphis has so many positive things, and it's really the people here that keep believing, and we believe in each other. So we give you all our best, and just thank you for sharing the evening. And Sherman, thank you for inviting us. Thank you so much. We turn it back to you.
Okay. Well, thank you, Mel and Pearl. You know, you guys are some of our favorites. So, and thank you thanks everybody for joining us this evening. We will have the presentation on our Facebook page and our website. So you can go and revisit it again. The Shaws have shared their information, and we'll have that information as well on both of those platforms. And again, thank you so much, and hopefully we'll see you next month.
Yes.
Have a happy and safe Thanksgiving, everybody.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.